Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review the new documentary, The Human Factor. And this is streaming on Starz, and it's from director Dror, Moreh, and this film focuses on the intense and complex geopolitical landscape of the Middle East and how the United States had been such a big part of the conflict between Israel and Palestine for decades. And it's really capturing time period of from like Bush, H.W. Bush, losing into the Clinton administration and jumping further into the future. But a lot of this just focuses mostly on the 90s and the Clinton administration and everything going on. It's very much a by the numbers kind of documentary. There's no like extra oomph in it in terms of like filmmaking style. It's very much here's people getting interviewed, talking about these things. There it is. That's what you want. And it's very straightforward, but it is able to capture the complexities of this geopolitical issue in many different ways, in way it portrays each of the different pieces to the puzzle and kind of gives you a bit of a behind-the-scenes kind of look and a different perspective on it. This film's very informative. You'll probably learn a lot if you don't know much about it already. And it's something that gives you this timeline and evolution and gives you a better understanding of how these relationships in the Middle East have shaped so much, especially coming into the future now, where the Middle East had become such a big part of our geopolitical landscape here in America. And you have an interestingly intimate and more emotional perspective on the presidency, specifically with Bill Clinton and how he made these connections on a personal level with these leaders in Israel, in Palestine, and how assassinations of his quote-unquote friends and not just peers made something that much more personal and gave him a bit of like, I needed to do something about this. And I think that is probably the most interesting thing about this film, adding that extra layer of personal connection and weight to it, and it adds a different dimension of emotion and connectiveness. And it's that different kind of side of leadership that you don't really get to see of the presidency. And I think this documentary captures that in an interesting way. And I feel like this film is not quite as interesting as like the actual things going on, because it has a lot of historians and experts on the area, a bunch of older white men just kind of sitting there doing their, I'm a historian, talking about whatever topics going on in this documentary, and it doesn't really evolve past that. It's very comfortable being in that I'm a classic kind of documentary, and here you go. It's informative. I hope you learned something. And you know what? The Human Factor accomplishes that. But those are my thoughts on the film. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.